Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from The Federalist dated August 18th. It says 6 days after calling DC crime crisis non-existent, New York Times Peter Baker complains Trump isn't fixing crime. So we're going to be clowning on the media a little bit today. It's kind of a short article here. You can see it says just 3 minutes, so it'll be a little longer, of course, with me throwing in commentary like this right now. But this is kind of typical of the New York Times. Is just Trump says something, they go, oh, whatever he's saying is wrong and bad, and then Trump goes ahead and does the thing, and then they try to, move the goalposts on him. So it says, 6 days after declaring the crime crisis in Washington, D.C. was non-existent, the New York Times chief White House correspondent Peter Baker is complaining that President Donald Trump isn't fixing crime in Washington, D.C. Well, that would be antithetical to what people on the ground that actually live there are saying, and they are extremely thankful that he's doing that. On August 11th, Trump announced his administration would be taking back control of the nation's capital after decades of government failure. Trump invoked Section 740 of the District of Columbia's Self-Government and Governmental Reorganization Act, which gives his administration authority to take control of the city's police department. Trump also declared a public safety emergency in the nation's capital and instructed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to deploy the D.C. National Guard to help aid in crime fighting. And Batman, too, because D.C. definitely needed it. His propagandists like Baker sprang into action to decry the move as unnecessary. Yeah, it's funny, all these elitists, again, like, whenever it comes to helping out, like, the regular people, they're just like, nothing's wrong. It's like that one dude reminded me of, like, when they were back during the Black Lives Matter riots and Antifa was attacking that Portland police station or whatever it was, or the government, it might have been even that ICE facility, even back then, that for like 100 days... the place was, like, under siege by Antifa, and then there was, like, one reporter that went to, like, a field during the day, like, this nice, sunny, like, green grass field, and took a picture. It's like, there's nothing happening, look. And it's like, yeah, but you're lying, and we know you are, because we've seen the pictures of it. We've seen the stats. Like, what are you talking about? So that's kind of like what this dude is doing. And so what he wrote here, it says, citing a non-existent crime crisis, Trump plans to take over the Washington, D.C. police and put troops on the streets of the nation's capital. Contrary to his claims, violent crime in D.C. is at a 30-year low, Baker posted on X on August 11th. Too bad, as we found out, this next part here. Says, of course, Baker's narrative collapses under the weight of the facts, as everything the New York Times puts out tends to do. Says, data shows the nation's capital is plagued with violent crime, with more than 1,600 violent crimes reported in 2025 thus far, and roughly 16,000 total crimes. Sounds much like a crisis to me. I don't know what the math is, but do 16,000 divided by however many days as of the date of this article, which was, what was it again, the 18th of August? Yeah, and gives you an idea of how many crimes there have been per day as of the date of this article, or do it as of the day before this day. According to the White House, carjackings are more than 3 times the national average, with White House Policy Communications Director Jackie Kotkowitz, sorry if I mispronounced that, noting a 547% increase in carjackings between 2018 and 2023. It's because they keep electing progressives who don't want to actually, prosecute crime. Just to make matters worse, allegations of officials cooking the books on crime statistics have been plaguing the city. There's the rub about why Peter Baker said that crime is at a 30-year low. It's because he's lying by omission. Or he's just ignorant. He didn't know that. Or he's lying to you. Those are the only possible options. So what I would say is this person should not be trusted as a journalist anymore. If you see his name, I would say I cannot trust what he's saying here. It says D.C. Police Union Chairman Greg Pemberton told NBC Washington last month that when its members respond to the scene of a felony offense where there is a victim reporting that a felony occurred, inevitably there will be a lieutenant or a captain that will show up on that scene and direct those members to take a report for a lesser offense. Yeah, that's not good. So instead of taking a report for a shooting or a stabbing or a carjacking, they will order that officer to take a report for a theft or an injured person to the hospital or for a felony assault, which is not the same type of classification, Pemberton continued. It says, notably, Metro Police Department Commander Michael Pulliam was suspended in May for allegedly changing crime statistics in his district, as Fox News reported. It says Pulliam is currently under investigation for allegedly altering crime statistics. Says the facts themselves are so glaring that Baker later admitted that crime is in fact real before trying to blame Trump, who is trying to curb the epidemic. I love that. So what do you say? It says the Washington Post tracked where Trump's forces are patrolling in Washington. Spoiler alert, they're not where the crime is, he posted. It's kind of everywhere, my man. And I like how guys like him just say stuff like this, and it's like, dude, we can, like, again, we can see it. And it's like he's trying to do everything he can to blame Trump for something he's trying to fix, okay? Because Baker went from claiming DC crime was non-existent to then scolding Trump for not doing enough to fix it. So which one is it, buddy? You only get one of these things, and it wasn't like non-existent before, so you lied, is what I'm hearing from you. It says, by denying the reality of the problem when Trump points it out and then attempting to weaponize the problem against him when it becomes undeniable, Baker reveals he and most of the press are merely propagandists for whatever the Democrat narrative is. That is correct, and again, that's why I wanted to go ahead and bring this up, is just to kind of at least give one example, and trust me, there are many more, and not just the New York Times and the Washington Post, but all across all types of left-leaning media of stuff like this. Okay, so just to give you an idea that stuff like this is out there and to be wary of it, and never read anything Peter Baker writes again with any sort of seriousness. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.